Okay, you should be host.
I am. Thank you.
It says join audio. Don't join and I'll stay quiet. I have them.
I have to go in.
That's me.
No.
Oh, maybe not.
We're semi.
We're a hybrid. There you go. That's probably how it's gonna be for forever. Hybrid. Hybrid model.
Yeah.
Is this who's coming in person?
Five. Yeah.
So we have enough to make decisions.
There's,
Mike is online. Aaron is on.
Charlie, George, oh yeah.
Charlie, George, Paul said he was.
There, he's on. Sorry.
How's it going? Tired? Seen him one day, that time of year. Yeah. Good thing you didn't have any kids on the slave labor. Works too, so grab them, like, get in the bathroom from the shed. Water's gonna come on in a day or two.
Mike, can you hear us?
Nanette's gonna try again. Were you able to see him the last time?
I get his name.
Do we send you the history, the
Well, you
video,
should
like
try
we were
it
before?
again, otherwise I'm gonna call him and we may have to use. Will work, will the phone work?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. We can hear you.
Okay, perfect. All right, yeah, sorry, it took me a while. I was on another screen, but yeah, I can hear you guys now.
And then, yes, can you read off to me who is here when we are all ready to get
Yeah.
started?
Oh, because you can't see anybody right now.
I can't see it.
Yeah, just a second. Paul, could you please start your video? We found out that last time it wasn't so good. It would be better if you would start your video, please. Thank you.
Let's see, she's helping one over there. That's my mom and dad last week. They left me on Wednesday, I think. So, I got back yesterday. She's supposed to start working. I got my therapy on. Yeah. That's why I'm chocolate. Yeah. So.
Hey, James, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry for calling you Jim last week or 2 weeks ago.
Oh, it's fine.
Your video.
I know, but I can see that thing. I'll turn it on.
Do you want us to turn over video?
You don't have to have it on.
That's okay. okay, Mike. It doesn't really bug me. I just gives me something to harass you about, and that makes it fun for me.
I figured. I was wondering what you said because I'm like, it sounded like he was talking like I did. And I was like, oh, I did say Jim twice. Dang it. So yeah, evening meetings, my brain is kind of fried during that day, especially if I've been on the computer all day. I'm just like trying to keep names straight and stuff. So
And the mayor does.
Okay, 4 o'clock, huh? You let other people in there?
I can let others in.
I think so. There you go.
Mr. Mayor just joined us.
Okay, good.
You can, those of you in here, you can turn off your videos. You don't need it. You can still. see
Then you told me
everybody.
to turn it on.
Well, when you were talking to Mike.
Yeah. All right, it's 4 o'clock. I'm gonna call this Carbon County School District meeting, Board of Trustees meeting to order. Item 1, Pledge of Allegiance. And Mr. Copeland, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Item 2, on the agenda, we have had a couple of late additions. Some of you looked at that earlier. There's a resignation under 5C. And then 16B, I asked Dr. Copeland about having a June work session since we canceled the one for May and focused on opening school back up and just an informative thing from the administrators, like where we're at. And then if perhaps other people that need to come talk to us, and it can be a discussion format. And the earlier, we obviously talk about that. If we have to make some policies in the July and August meeting as a follow-up, we don't want to obviously wait till August and then tell people what's going to happen, right? So the earlier we can discuss that and the public can listen to, and it can be a Q&A format. So I think, the most important thing right now is getting school back open in the fall after graduation happens. And so just spending time on that in a more informal setting is the plan for the work session in June when we know a little more. So, item 2.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the agenda with the adjustments as amended. Second.
All right, it has been moved and seconded to approve the agenda as amended. I think since there's still 3 of you on there, we'll do a roll call vote still. I will vote in favor.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Then
Karen Puckett,
Aye.
Paul Clark,
Aye.
Mike Boardman.
aye.
Okay, thank you. Item 3, presentations and recognition. The first item is Region 5 BOCES report presentation update from Dan Mayer, who we've been told is online here with us.
Chairman, members of the board, Superintendent Copeland, thanks for having me. I guess I just wanted some clarification. I have my PowerPoint ready. I can run through that real quickly, or I can answer questions. What would you guys prefer in this situation?
If you would go through your PowerPoint, I think that would be.
Okay, I will do that. I'll share my screen. I need to.
Okay, just 1 second. All ready.
Perfect. All right, can everybody see my screen? Great, so I did modify this a little bit, just so you know, for the sake of time. And I'll tell you, a lot of the financial information that's included in your packet, I took out of this. So if you have questions about some of those really detailed financials, let me know. because that's more for you as just the board information. So I just want to share some information with you. Again, we are Region 5 BOCES. Let me try to move my screen here. I'm froze up. There we go. So each year, my board, which Georgia Miller is a member of on our board, request that I go out and make a formal request for mill levy funds that helps our operations. And that's what I'm here to do. I usually travel around every year. So to start, I would just like to formally thank you for your support of Region 5 BOCES and request continuation in support of 0.2 of a mill. Using 2019 district valuation, this equates to $27,000 and $185. We usually use mill levy funds for information technology, transportation, repairs, maintenances, major maintenance, and capital projects. It's always important for you to know that we do not receive funding from any local, state, or federal sources to support these activities. So primarily tonight, I'm here to discuss with you the mill funds. So total mill funds, it just gives that if everyone gives 0.2 of a mill, we end up with that amount. We allow district choice that gives us just a share over $1 million. There's a variance. We request 0.2 of a mills from each district. I visit each member district to make this request. And then again, I've already shared with you what those funds support. So I want to talk a little bit more about how we spent the mill funds last year. So fiscal year 2019, you can see that we spent a lot of it in operations to a tune of $1 million. And you can see in each of those areas in information technology, transportation, repairs and maintenance, and a little bit more for Roosevelt Learning Center, for some day-to-day for one of our centers. That's how it's separated, and not much into the capital, 223,000. And you can see a lot is focused on CBAR-V. And there's a couple things that have happened over the last few years, why that seems like we're placing it in one area. All of our day schools that we operate as our operations, so, and I'm going to get into that, we rent from districts. So if, for example, Roosevelt Learning Center is in Green River, we took over one of their mothball schools and we pay them rent. And so it's turning out to be a win-win-win. The other advantage of that is that we don't have a lot of excess money for major maintenance or capital projects for our facilities. So this allows us to take those monies and put it into the one property we own, the residential facility. So that's been something that's been a benefit to us that we really weren't seeking, is those partnerships with the school districts. So let me tell you a little bit about our programming. I typically share this. We do two primary things. First, we have a network of accredited K-12 schools. We provide services to students ages 5 to 21 who require diversified learning and highly focused programming. We have 4 campuses, soon to have 5 campuses starting next fall. Sunrise School that serves Fremont County, Roosevelt Learning Center that serves Sweetwater County, Hayden Peak that serves Uena and Lincoln 1, and CBAR-V, which essentially serves our member districts and all districts across the state. These programs are typically designed to serve special ed students, these residential and day treatment programs, and it's on a continuum of services. In special ed, we talk about a least restrictive environment, and IEP students need to be served on a least restrictive environment. This picture is to just show you where our programs fall in that continuum of services. Of course, when you look on your screen, more to the left, general education, those happen within the school. Unfortunately, and legally, we can place kids outside of that school setting if their behavior, if their needs, if whatever causes them to not be appropriate for the school setting, the IEP team can make a decision outside of the school to make a placement. And those are the services we run in our day schools. So we have a separate day school, typically that we can serve kids in that means. That means those separate day schools, those kids get to go home at night. Our residential facility, kids stay with us 24/7. And again, on the bottom, this is an IEP team decision. So this is not, an IEP team typically makes this decision. Students we've served in our day programs, in all of our programs, you can see 89. This slide has not been updated. I'm sure there's been some more movement into this. You can see where we budget, what our current enrollment is, how many students have exited our program, and then total students served. And then you can see how many districts that we've served total as well. You can see CBRV, especially current enrollment, right when we were starting to hit the COVID time. It's really hit a time where we're unable to take new clients right now because we're having a struggle getting back online. Just because of the nature of what we do, it's hard to social distance. It's hard to wear masks. It's making it tough. We're trying to figure it out, but it's going to take a while to get our numbers back to where we'd like them, just because of all those factors with COVID-19. Some celebrations. We were approved by all of our facilities to take court order replacement. That's big. That means that districts and even our day schools, DFS can place to our day schools if they feel it appropriate, is what that means. That's a good thing. We've had almost 30 kids, well, probably by the end of the year, we're going to have, because I know we have had a few kids, we are going to have over 30 kids step down to a lower tier on least restrictive environment, moving from residential to day school or out of district back to district. So that's a real success that a lot of our kids are moving back, and that's our goal. We want to help kids, but we want to get them back to school. We've implemented some PBIS measures in our residential program that's going well, especially in our cottages. We're going to implement a core curriculum, a base curriculum, we're calling it, in all of our programs called Summit Learning. It's a blended approach. And one of our facilities has been operating it, but it's going to help us with training and give us a more consistent and viable curriculum as we go forward. And it's adaptable because our kids come to us all points of the time in the year. And then another thing we're proud of is that a lot of our staff are returners. About 15% of our staff previously worked and have come back. And when we asked them why they've come back, they said, indicated a positive work environment that has changed. So that's something we've worked hard to do. The second function of Region 5 BOCES is a highly trained professionals providing outreach services, district support services, and professional development, all focused on meeting and improving special ed in Wyoming. So we do professional staffing service grants, staff training, staff mentoring and monitoring, professional development and multi-tiered systems of support, trauma-informed care, data-based individualization, and outreach services. And we have had a lot of webinar series. Some of our accolades in this is by the end of the year, we're probably upwards to probably about 60 or 70 free webinars that we've provided for PTSB credit. And we've had several, especially since COVID hit, that we've hit 300 participants. So right when COVID hit, a lot of districts were struggling with how to provide special ed support, how to do certain things. And we jumped on it. We had some contracts and we offered some of our professional services, some of the contracts and expertise that we had, and gave it for free to the districts, all districts. We were like, we're all in this together. We want to try to help out. We did host 2 paid webinar series, and we had 32 of our 48 districts in attendance. So we charged for that, gave our members a bit of a discount, and charged full price for non-members. We're partnering, and we just found out this partnership with Black Hills Special Ed Cooperative for results-driven accountability work in Wyoming. We're working with the Department of Education to help implement this across the entire state to all districts. I just got done with a meeting on this for the special ed agreement. We work with 7 districts, 1 preschool to provide psych services and OT services to meet IEPs, and provide new staff mentoring and monitoring for 2 districts, including Carbon 2. And I didn't give all the details but that's all I have for that. So are there any questions I can answer?
Any questions for Dan? No? Okay. assume you'll be available if we have follow-up questions, so we appreciate you taking the time to.
Yeah,
So the work you guys have done, especially challenging this last few months.
appreciate that.
Okay, thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
We will move on to item 4. There's nothing in correspondence. So item 5.
5A is to consider accepting the resignation or retirement from Clint Bromley, effective at the end of the school year, and thank him for his service.
It looks like from the letter, it's hoping to.
Yeah, he mentioned he'd like to continue. That is actually on a later list this summer, all of those positions.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the retirement and resignation from Clint Bromley, effective at the end of the 2019-2020 school year, and thank him for his service. Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded to accept the resignation retirement letter from Clint Bromley, effective the end of the 2019-2020 school year, and thank him for his service to the district. I will vote affirmative.
Aye.
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 Karen,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Mike. Mike,
Oh, I'm sorry. Aye.
5B is to consider offering a contract to Anthea Teska for the 2020-21 school year. Current assignment will be special ed at Saratoga Middle High School. This has been a vacant position this current year due to the fact we had no applicants, so we're glad to complete that staff up there.
We're having much better success finding them this year.
We are.
Is there a reason for that, Robin, or?
I don't know. I mean, we went to a couple places and I think that we advertised a little bit more. They put it out there. So, and we had some time.
And Frontline, I think, does help because it puts it out there a little more broad than in past years.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we offer a contract to Anthea Teska for the 2020-2021 school year. Current assignment will be special education at Saratoga Middle High School.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to offer a contract to Ms. Teska for the 2020-2021 school year. Current assignment being special ed at Saratoga Middle High School. I will vote in the affirmative.
Aye.
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 Karen,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
And 5C, consider accepting the resignation from Amanda Ruland, effective at the end of the 2019-2020 school year. Thank her for her service. She has decided to stay on a little longer. A new baby.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the resignation from Amanda Rulin, effective at the end of the 2019-2020 school year, and thank her for her service.
Second.
And it's been moved and seconded to accept the resignation of Amanda Rubin, effective the end of the 2019-2020 school year, and thank her for her service. I will vote in the affirmative.
Aye.
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 Karen,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Okay, item 6, number A, Mr. Copeland.
Well, just quickly going through my report, the enrollment is there. And the change is we actually gained 2 students, believe it or not, during this closure period in the last month. We gained 3 and lost 1, so net gain of 2. So that's kind of was interesting. The graduation dates and plans, we did submit for review our graduation plans. We actually put 2 options for each campus. They were all within a day approved, so that was quick and good from the county health department. So HEM and Encampment are planning an indoor graduation with quite a few restrictions. Family groups of 6 feet apart, ushered into their seating area and then ushered out. Everyone will attempt to stay 6 feet apart as far as seating of seniors and any other guests such as administrators. Encampment has and HEM both have smaller classes this year, which may be a factor in them approving that, but there are 6 at Encampment and 13 at HEM. Saratoga Middle High School decided to continue with their plan to have theirs outdoor at the football field. And I think I sent you all of the descriptions of those. They're also posted on the district website. So they're accessible, have been for, as soon as they were approved, we got those out there. So those were developed in communication with seniors and class sponsors at each of the schools. And so we thought one thing, they allowed a little more flexibility, so they did approve all of our plans. So we finally got that set and that's out there, and we will, the times have not changed. I think HEM's is that Friday night at 6, and then at 11 the next morning is Saratoga, and Encampment is at 2 p.m. So everybody's aware of all the restrictions and all the things that we'll have to do at both the indoor and the outdoor ceremonies. Just as a side note, Dr. Harris, who's a state health officer, joined our superintendent WDE Zoom session this morning and basically indicated that they were trying to use a lot of flexibility in approving all these graduation plans that were coming across from various districts. Not all have sent theirs in. She encouraged everyone to get those done. And so, so that's the status on that. And be glad to answer any questions if you have any. Again, those descriptions are on the website, and I think I sent those out to the board also.
Jim, are you seriously letting people drive their cars on the football field?
They are
The
being
track?
outside the track area. It's not going to be on the field.
Oh, okay.
I shouldn't.
I know, it's
I
like,
shouldn't say on the field. It's within the fence, but they're
within the
gonna
fence.
have particular parking places.
Gotcha.
And each family will be in the cars, the seniors will be on the field, the diplomas will be on a table. They will be able to use the PA system and, you know, use that for like whatever taped music they have and it's
Right.
speeches and all of that. So they have a little bit of an advantage to doing an outdoor system in Saratoga. Plus they have more seniors, which would have been a little more of a challenge to try to go indoors. I will say if the weather's a factor, they did approve an indoor for Saratoga as a backup. So there is that option if the weather turns out not good. I think they're going to have a parade afterward in Saratoga. So yeah, but no, they won't be on.
I
the
just
track.
saw it, so I'm like, oh Lord,
Yeah,
it took so long to get that thing going.
Yeah, it's, yeah, they're gonna be outside the track, I guess over there behind where the visiting team sits all over there on that side. And then I'm not sure, I think they're gonna actually put the seniors and admin and people on the field, not up in the stands, but then they'll use the PA system.
Cool.
And if you just happen to stand outside the fence.
There you go. Don't know.
You know, so you did put on here, I think, and just reading those letters, it didn't really sound like any board members need to be present. You know, keep staff members, but now this, and you mentioned that if people want to go.
I started to say, if board members want to attend any of them, we can make those accommodations and just make sure they're 6 feet apart.
I do have on mine one board member to read names for,
Okay.
that was what I was planning on, but if you guys don't want to come, we can make changes.
It's the Friday night.
No,
And
Saturday.
Campbell
Saturday
Saturday
at 2. Yeah.
It'll be like a half hour long, so.
What's that?
I won't be here that day. Sorry.
It's all right, I mean, I can read names, it's just usually the board member does, so we plan on that. That keeps us still at our 50, we have one board member, so.
Okay, so we need to get, if anybody that's on Zoom or here, we need to get that out. We need to get some response back pretty quickly so they can get those programs. So,
Yeah, I'd really like to know if you could email me maybe even by tomorrow, so I can get it out to the principals so they can put it on programs. Okay. Any other things, items? Summer board meeting times, just a reminder that the time changes to 6. At the June meeting, as was mentioned earlier, we're going to, when we amended the agenda, that there'll be a work session there. So there was also a OC's board meeting, so we moved that back up to 2:45 when it normally starts, and then the session will be about 4 to 6, somewhere in there. That way, those board members on the OC's board will be here, but yet there won't be a gap if we did it the other way around. So she talked to Brad and she was fine with that. So there'll be a BOCES board meeting, then a then a board work session, and then a board meeting. Okay.
It'll be, yes, it may be, so.
Item 4, just got a note letting us know, we just wanted to thank Mandy Moon Lawn Care Services. They donated time and materials to area the Saratoga football field, and I know there's other volunteers about various things like that that probably don't get to me, but when I hear something I like to add it, just to kind of give a little thanks, public thanks to people that go out of their way to help. There's also a donation in the consent where an individual paid for state championship rings for the Saratoga basketball team, which was a very nice donation to that. So,
It's awesome.
yeah, very awesome.
For JV clear group.
Yeah, I heard it was for every.
Managers.
And that was for,
Managers, yeah.
and since we've said that, that was, we might as well mention who it was.
Urban, Gary Urban.
Yeah, that's right. So we want to thank all of that. And then number 5, student handbooks are coming for June. A lot of times we've done that in May, but with the new principal coming, he's having some input on that. And now that they're online, it's not like there's a deadline to have them to the printer, which is why they were always trying to be ready for approval in May. So that'll be on the June report, just FYI. Okay.
Any report? Thank you. All right, Robin, special ed report.
I don't have a whole lot. I just, first of all, wanted to kind of keep you updated on where we're at with remote learning and ESY extended school year for our kids. We normally just have some of our special ed kids that regress more than others come in for the summer. This year, we're going to offer that to all kids just because they've been out of school for so long. So we are going to offer that for all elementary age kids. This is assuming that we'll be able to be back in schools, and then we'll have to look at how we want to group those, or if we'll be able to group those, but we just want to make sure that they have a chance to keep growing on their goals. We're also looking at doing some Friday school with some of those kids next year. Not all of them, but the ones that really regressed during this time, and having them come in and work on some of those for Friday. So that's out there. The other thing is just a celebration for us. We did get a letter this last week that our school district met all the requirements for our special education. And so they look at 14 different indicators when they look at that, and it's everything from our test scores, graduation rate, post-secondary outcomes, parent involvement. There's a whole slew of things that they look at there to determine if we meet requirements. I think there's 4 different categories. Meet requirements is the highest level, and that's where we were at. So that was pretty exciting. I did include just an example of a letter, and that's one of the indicators that go into the requirements. And this one was a file review where we go through, I think, probably 50 kids' files to make sure that our paperwork is all in line and we've met deadlines and all of that. So yeah, it was a success story and just kind of something happy to share.
And I would just like to add that to that, this is the first time in a number of years that we've met requirements. Usually there's one little percentage off of one of these indicators, which will cut you out of that. So congratulations to Robin and the whole team of special ed, and it's really quite a good thing to be requirements.
Thanks, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. That should be even being more fully staffed in special ed this coming year. That will even, here.
Yeah.
Cool. Any other questions for you guys online from Robin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. So my report is attached as usual. To give you some updates on curriculum, we had 4 instructional intensity PD sessions for the remainder of the year, and those have been canceled now because of the COVID-19 closures. And we received approximately $7,600 back to our Title IIA funds account, which is great. We have a lot more money, but we also have very limited things we can spend it on right now, considering all the closures. So that will carry over to next year's funds. I'm sure we'll find a use for it at some point. Not really any other curriculum updates at this time. District assessment system, no updates. Assessments, the CTE concentrator testing was finally canceled at the federal level for all of our CTE concentrators for the school year, which is great. No other assessment updates at this time other than that. The bulk of my report really just goes into some small projects I've been working on here and there since our last meeting. At the end of April, I attended a Digital Curriculum Directors Association meeting. We discussed a number of things, one of which is a new state report for K through 3 early literacy tracking. Essentially, we have to ensure that 85% of all of our K through 3 students are at grade level or above with their literacy. And we're using systems like Dibbles. We can use YTOP as well to test that. We're going to have to create a corrective action plan for each school for any grades not meeting the percentage. And so far, we're putting our report together, which is due at the end of June. Robin Brown has been really helpful with that. So thank you, Robin. I really appreciate that. And then in the fall, we're going to have to revise our early literacy plan. And Robin and I, the Title I teachers, since they've had such a strong hand in creating that in the past, we'll all work on that together, get that taken care of in the fall. CTE programs, I mentioned before that we've been doing some SCED recoding. So essentially that's determining what's taught in each class so that our district can communicate with other districts across the state and even across the country. We've completed our list of updates for that. Now we're just finishing up some state reporting requirements, ASVAB scores, things like that, which hopefully we'll be able to submit in the next week or so. Also related to that SCED coding, Michelle McWayne and I, we attended a meeting last week. This is something I mentioned in a previous board report, but just that we are volunteering our district for a widespread K through 12 SCED coding update. Getting started on that will be focused on just high school. They already pushed back some due dates though, which is nice. But the good thing about this is we're going to be ahead of the curve as the state comes down with these requirements. We're going to get a lot more personal support with that. So it's going to be a lot of work for us, but I'm excited for the fact that we can get it done and then have it out of the way once we get to that point. We had a CTE stakeholders meeting on May 6th. 16 individuals attended. I thought it went fairly well. Got to hear from pretty much all the CTE teachers. Only unfortunately had one community member that was present. But I've been working with the new CEO of the Platte Valley Chamber of Commerce, Leanna Jones, to send out a survey to see if we can get any other feedback from anyone else in the area, just about how our CTE programs are going. We also had our district stakeholders meeting to review the federal grants from this past year last week on Wednesday. Again, I think it went very well. We had 22 people attend. Unfortunately, we didn't really have any outside individuals other than people that are associated with the district in some way. But we try to put as much information out there. We'll continue inviting people. And I guess if no one shows up, that's not a bad thing necessarily, because usually it seems that people make it more of a priority to show up for things like complaints than compliments. But thank you for everyone that's involved in all those pieces, and thank you for those of you that attended those. Originally, a report was going to say that we should have all of our grade books updated to reflect all the changes for our school closures back on March 16th. Unfortunately, we ran into some problems, so we had to update our grade books so that we could give students either a satisfactory or incomplete grade. Our K through 2 standard-based report cards, there was a error with the updates, and we're working on that, and hopefully I'll have that resolved by about midweek It's something that we outsource to another individual, Phoenix Learning Services, because it involves some hefty programming that none of us within the district are able to take on. But I appreciate all the work that Michelle McWayne did to get all of our 3 through 12 grades updated. And then Aaron Rudy from Phoenix Learning Services for what he's been doing to help us so far with that. And then beyond that, I've just been doing a lot of work to prep for next school year, a lot of orders to be placed for new staff members, continuing staff members, collecting staff feedback for PD next year, which the A team and I will go over soon to start planning what we're gonna do for our professional development, getting new teacher trainings ready. And then we put together some nomination forms for Teacher of the Year and for Staff Member of the Year within the district. And there are links to that on the district website. I'd encourage anyone present at this meeting, feel free to nominate a person for either of those roles, board members as well. Anyone else in the public that is watching the meeting, feel free to go on there and nominate someone that you feel deserves that award. That's the end of my report.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Noel about that? No, thank you, Noel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Noel.
Okay, audience, did we get any email questions or pre-solicited questions this time? Okay. Anybody else from the audience have any questions or comments? Okay. Item 8A, unfinished business, ratification of the lease at Medicine Bow.
We just need to, the board needs to vote to ratify. We did get the signed lease with the addendum on it from Medville Lodging, and it's attached. So the board just needs to take official action to ratify the lease. And to the end of this calendar.
You're up, okay. Mr. Chairman, I move that we ratify the lease of the Medicine Bow property to Medvo Lodging LLC through the end of the 2020 calendar year with the proposed addendum. Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve that lease with the addendum through the end of the calendar year. Make just a couple notes that some clarification that was put in there, obviously that the fence is to be finished within 30 days and the 60 days on the road, and to clarify that the road is to be gravel, all weather road, put in there. With those clarifications to the lease. All in favor? I will say yes.
Aye.
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 Karen?
Aye, sorry.
Paul?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. I apologize, I should have asked for an additional comment ahead of time, but it's too late now. For discussion. Go. Item 9A.
This is consideration of the Carbon County School District 2, number 2 Recreation Board preliminary budget for the 2020-2021 school years presented. And I don't know if Paul or Sally the one want to make a comment on that, but it's attached.
Sally, if you're there, go ahead.
Well, the rec board presented their budget and I think they're in line with what they have. It's just a preliminary budget. So basically it gives them the opportunity to spend money from July 1st until the third Wednesday in July when we approve their actual budget. So it's a formality at this time to approve the preliminary budget, and it may change between now and the 15th of July or when we have our special board meeting. But
And real quick, just to let everybody know, this is the first time that I can remember that we're funding 100% of the requests. So we had enough cash from last year that we was able to approve everybody's. So that's good news.
Thank you, Paul. So we need a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the Carbon County School District Number 2 Rec Board preliminary budget for the 2020-21 school year as presented. Second.
Has been moved and seconded to approve the Carbon County School District 2 Rec Board preliminary budget for the 2020-2021 school year as presented. I will vote in favor.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Karen,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Item B, we did not have, you want to speak to that, Cassie, since you ran the meeting?
Sure. James and myself were the only ones in attendance as board members to the BOCES meeting prior to this meeting. So we did discuss the budget, but we did not take any action on that.
So that means that will come back, unless, if I understood Sally correctly, we can come back with that budget at the June meeting and approve that preliminary budget after the BOCES meeting in June.
Yep, that's correct. It'll come back to you in June.
No action there. Okay. All right, item C. Sally or Jim?
Go ahead, Sally.
Well, you can see under your estimated funds available for the 2021 school year for the general fund budget, nothing has changed a whole lot. Our estimated revenue at this point for our foundation guarantee is right at where we were last year. Our general fund balance right now, it looks like it's going to be at least what we carried forward last year, if not more. We can probably plan on a budget hearing in June to move some more money to depreciation reserve or make sure that we don't hit our cash carryover limit. The legislature did not approve the 25%, moving it from 15 to 25% cash carryover limit. So we will have to adhere to that cap that we've seen in the past, which is about 3.8 million as a cash carryover limit. So we may want to move some more money to depreciation reserve to help pay for equipment and so forth that needs to be replaced. But the general fund proposed budget for preliminary budget is 18,510,000. Then for the other funds that you have a preliminary budget, capital construction, right now we don't have any big capital construction projects, but as a placeholder, I've put in $400,000. Your major maintenance fund, we've spent that down to about $1.4 million, and we'll be getting our new money. But we have some big projects, the vestibules that we're doing right now in major maintenance. So we'll see our current cash reduce, but we'll get our new money in starting in July. The food service is what it was last year. We've done really well with our cooperative agreement with the Northeast Colorado BOCES as far as purchasing food. We may be looking at a little bit of an expense increase because of the summer food program, but it's going really well, and we're really proud of the kitchen that served. For the month of April, it was like 6,400 meals that they've served across the district, and for us, that's pretty good. I mean, we usually serve probably 2 to 3 times that many in the lunchroom, but to have people come and pick up meals, that's a pretty good thing. The employee benefit fund, we've got 1 person left on that. I think that has about 2 more years left to pay out, and that'll exhaust that fund pretty close. We just have some little interest that'll remain in there. Depreciation reserve right now is at $800,000. It may go up before we get done with our budget hearing in July, but especially if we have more money to transfer in there. The grant funds, the $750,000 is the threshold before we have to do a special audit on our grant funds, a single audit. But right now we're holding about $500,000 to $600,000 in our grant funds. But if we get gear money or COVID money coming from the feds, I know that we're supposed to get about $130,000 that'll be allocated like Title I money that we can use for COVID expenses. And then there's another pot of money. So that may go up a little bit, but we'll have until December of 2021 to spend that COVID money on special things that are related to the virus, like getting extra hand sanitizers, like buying our Wi-Fi hotspots for our remote learning and those types of things. So there's a lot of different expenses there. So our grants, your final budget may come in a little bit higher than that, but this is a good preliminary number. Right now in your scholarships, you have about $15,000 and you don't have scholarships being issued. And your pupil activity will come in about $560,000 again from last year. So that gives you a preliminary budget to approve of all funds at $23,204,000. And like I said, that's preliminary. It gives us the opportunity to spend money between July 1st and the third Wednesday in July when we approve the final budget. But I don't expect it to change a whole lot between now and then. Any questions?
Thank you, Sally.
Welcome.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the Crum County School District Number 2 preliminary budget for the 2020-2021 school year as presented.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the Carbon County School District 2 preliminary budget for the 2020-21 school year as presented. I vote yes, favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Karen?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
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 Okay, item 10, consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented. Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as presented. I vote yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Karen?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
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 Okay, carried. Item 11, financial information. Sally.
As you can see on your treasurer's report, your general fund balance at the end of April is $6,576,881.97. You can see your revenue and expenditures. Looks like we spent about as much as we took in, which is pretty good. You have your State of Wyoming Foundation payment, your county treasurer revenues, and a little bit of interest income. You can see at the bottom in section 3, the various rates and maturities on your CDs and investments. It's hard to get a interest rate on a CD right now at greater than 0.75%. So it's all less than 1%. So that's why I'm leaving a bulk of the money in the WildStar account at 0.98. That's higher than any CD rates that I can get right now. Any questions on the general fund treasurer's report? Okay, your other funds, you can see the grant funds that are out there and where their balances are as far as the end of April. You can see your comparison between April of 2019 and April of 2020 payroll. You see your scholarships. We've talked about those in the preliminary budget. There were no scholarships issued during the month of April. You have your employee benefit fund, your major maintenance fund, your capital construction fund, the depreciation reserve, the lunch fund, the encampment activity fund, the HANA activity fund, the Saratoga activity fund, and then your deposit account for the Medbo lodging rental of the Medicine Bow property. Do you have any questions regarding the second page of all your other funds? Okay. Did you have any questions regarding your summary reports? The revenue is up about 4% compared to budget from what it was last year, and your expenditures are within less than 1% difference from where they were last year at this time. Any questions regarding those summary reports? Okay, that concludes my report.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, moving on to item B, bills.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the following bills. General fund, $317,578.91. Federal fund, $17,088.57. Major maintenance fund, $27,824. Depreciation Reserve Fund, $92,467.90. Hot Lunch Fund, $11,221.52. Encampment Activity Account, $630.08. AGM-HS Activity Account, $1,926.10. Saratoga Schools Activity Account, $5,130.22, for a total of $473,867.30.
Second.
It's been moved and double seconded to approve the bills and grand total of $473,867.30. I will vote yes.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Karen,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Mike. Did you say aye? We couldn't hear you.
Yeah, I'm
There you go.
still having troubles.
Okay, thank you. That passes. June bill committee will be Joe, Casey, and Paul. Okay. Item 12A, reappoint Paul Clark. Paul, are you willing to still do that? Be on the rec board?
I am, unless somebody else wants to take that position.
Well, not everybody spoke up at once, so I think it's you again. Thank you, Paul. Good job.
Yeah.
Okay. B, you got anything to add? Reason by both of you, Georgia?
We had our meeting on the 28th of April. The next one is the 26th of this month. They just talked more about obviously the COVID stuff and trying to figure out how to get kids back and social distance, which is going to be pretty difficult, as he kind of talked about a little bit. But he did say, which I thought was kind of interesting, that the family therapy has gone very, very well through the virtual learning. And I think from the discussions and stuff, it's pretty interesting to hear how I think the families have just come more together and figured out kind of what's going on and worked through that process. So that was kind of a neat thing that they talked about. They do think some of the numbers will drop, and they talked about like the CARES money that a lot of the districts are getting, and that they won't get it because obviously they're not considered a school. So that's that. But that's about all I have.
Thank you. Okay, item C, discuss the dates for board evaluation. Since it's an election year, I guess we probably want to do that before November.
Do we have the new evaluation, or are we supposed to be using that now?
This is just a board evaluation.
This is
This is a board self-evaluation.
Self-deal.
Yeah.
I think
When
it
have
was-
we done it before?
It used to be done in December. Last year, they moved it from December to spring. And so it was going to be done in March of this year.
We just
And
didn't do
then,
Right, and discussed at the May work session. But we didn't have either of those two
it. I
exactly.
guess my preference personally is to be like September, October. We're already gonna have enough time together working on, I'd rather focus on back to school stuff and have a work session or special time on this. So unless anybody has any objections. I think that point about having it before the election would be great. So like if you haven't done very good, because if we haven't done very good as a board, we can figure ourselves out. Any comments contrary to wanting to do it in, say, October? No. So we just need to have those packets out, like in September, and back to me, Tyler, or Joe. Joe does a great job with that. Since he's not here,
great task for him to have.
He knows that kind of stuff. It is important, so let's shoot for October. Okay. Executive session, you all right with doing B in front of A? Just since Mike's here, Robin's here.
Doesn't matter.
What
all
was
the
executive
executive
session?
session.
But we might have to, about who's coming in or.
Yeah, what we're gonna need to do is probably go to the conference room. Because what happens in a Zoom session is you go into a breakout room, and I've already put all the board members' names as people that can go in there. And then tonight, you know, I may not be in there for all of it either because the guy is on there, but if we want to do the first one, then Mike can come in.
Yeah, let's do that, just out of consideration, he's here. Probably,
I don't think it matters what order, it's all in executive session.
but just so that they can do it.
But we will, I guess, still need a motion to go.
We will, I just want to get that out front. there.
Sure.
Yeah. Maybe not, it's on the agenda, let's switch it.
And what will happen for those of you on Zoom, correct me if I'm wrong, Annette, but I think you'll get a little box will pop up that you've been invited to the breakout room. And so you need to click join. And then only those people will be able to hear and be seen in that. And I'm pretty sure, I had to look over Bill, pretty sure Bill I invited to go in there because he always goes in. So make sure he's on there.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you all want to do board comments before? the
Oh, yeah,
session?
we probably should. I apologize for that. I'm reading too far down.
Sorry, I just had to ask her a question.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, thank you, Dana. Item D, board comments. Let's start with you guys on Zoom. Let's go in reverse order. Mike, and then Paul and Karen. So you don't always have to talk from the last mic.
All right, if I'm cutting out really bad, just holler and let me know. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So just, you know, thanks to Dan Meyer for coming in and giving his BOCES presentation. It's always good information, especially for me as a new board member, trying to understand BOCES. So appreciate him coming in this evening. Sorry to see those resignations coming through, but excited to see the new hire, Anthea. So welcome aboard. Thank you to Jim and Noel and Robin for giving the reports. Really appreciate that. And then also thank you to Dana and Sally. Sally, my apologies. I didn't get to connect with you on the bills. I did try to call you, so. But anyways, I apologize if I wasn't as verbal as I wanted to be. So also thanks to all those behind the scenes at the office there, helping keep things moving. So that's about it, guys.
Paul?
Kind of ditto what Mike says. Thanks to all you guys behind the scenes that are still making this work in this time of complete and total weirdness. Appreciate you guys letting me go back on the rec board, especially since we have our meal coming up next month. Appreciate that. And then also, speaking of the rec board, we have a vacancy on there. Bob Cooper, after about 50 years or so, is finally deciding to step down. So if you guys know anybody that wants to get on, and by the way, Saratoga has no representation whatsoever right now. Other than that, you guys stay safe, wear your mask, stay 6 feet apart, and hopefully we'll get together next month.
All right. I would like to thank Clint and Amanda for their years of service, all the parents, teachers, staff, administrators, and Dr. Copeland for all the craziness that have been going on. Thanks for getting us through it. I'd like to say congratulations on the awesome summer lunch program. It looks like it's going to be awesome, so that should be fun. I'd like to thank the Irving family again for donating the championship rings to all of the Saratoga Middle High School boys basketball team, JV and varsity. Thanks.
How about you start, Georgia? We'll go that way.
Okay, again, best wishes to Clint and Amanda. Spent them there a long time. It'll be kind of a void fill, but I'm sure Paul will do a good job for us. Welcome, Anthea, is that how you say it? And congratulations to the graduates. It's kind of a bummer that they have to have a graduation like this, but it might be kind of different and something that they'll remember, so it's kind of neat. And of course, again, thank you to everyone that's worked through this COVID stuff. I mean, it's been a challenge, but I think that we've risen to the challenge.
Okay, so we'll miss Clint and Amanda greatly. Those are two excellent teachers. It's sad, but I think we'll have some good replacements for them. Congratulations, Robin. That's awesome on the special education program. Two things that I've personally been involved in. We did a cruise Maine for the seniors the other night. It was awesome. There's probably people that are cruising Maine and all the fire department place, and it was really cool. And then Darren had his oldie moldy, I know he can hear me, music playing at the football field. And my daughter was like, yeah, that's Mr. Jennings.
He's good at that.
Yes. So, and then the other thing, I don't know if you guys know, Saratoga FBLA competed in the state contest. It was online. My son literally sat in our room for 4 hours taking these tests. Campbell Gravo and Caitlin Buffano were state champs. I can't remember the exact division they were in, but anyway, state champs, and we go on to nationals. Rowdy was 4th in computer application and qualified for nationals with that, and 8th in ag business. So commend those kids and Mr. Mason, because he just really helps the kids in school. So, and Noel, thanks for all the meetings that you've made me get on. They've been great.
Well, I don't have too much more to add, but I do want to thank Clint and Amanda. Definitely be missed. Thank you to Mandy Moon and Gary and Cheryl Irvin. Got so many great community members that are always giving it to our schools, and I don't think we can ever thank them enough. Congratulations to all of the graduates. Pretty exciting time for them, and I just feel so bad. But I hope that they're celebrating and that they all have great futures ahead of them. Thank you to everyone behind the scenes. Really appreciate it. And that I've seen you more in the last couple of months than I've ever seen you. Just hope everybody has a really great summer.
Robin, thanks for your report and congratulations on meeting all your benchmarks. And appreciate the upcoming effort this summer to get those kids, kind of on track. And then the mention of Fridays, we don't think about that, but that's an opportunity with our scheduling that some schools don't have to maybe get back on track and recover from this a little bit. I really hope that the county health department and the other people allow us to do what they're going to allow us to do, weigh the social and emotional issues and other issues. COVID is only one risk. There's lots of other risks. So I hope they take a weighted approach instead of blinders on approach, because those social emotional issues, that's just for me as a parent. My kids, they have their own issues, but I see that they're getting worse and grouchier and not being to school. It's really taking a negative toll even on my kids. And the other thing I hope is when if and how we're able to come back, that we can allow our teachers to focus on the kids that are in their class and not have to have them have a second job of doing a bunch of online stuff as well. So now they're not going to have, they're doing one job now and they were doing one before. I hope they don't have to come back and do 2 jobs. think that's necessarily fair to them, so. Yeah, hope we can enjoy summer, and I really hope that we can be to a fresh start to when we're supposed to be. Now we'll move on to board comments. Thanks, Dana.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we go into executive session.
It has been moved and seconded to go into executive session for, the reason being is to tender offers concerning wages, salaries, benefits, and other forms of employment, and also to discuss personnel and student issues considered confidential by law. I will vote yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Karen,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and we will be taking action after executive session.
There are packaged snacks in the back if you would like for executive session.
Mr. Chairman, I move to come out of executive session.
I think somebody has to turn off their speakers. We're getting some feedback.
We got it. Blame it on Dr. Copeland.
We were all getting it, exactly.
I get this Zoom thing down soon enough.
Do you have a second? No. Okay.
Second.
I have to come in person. I can't do this again.
You were invited. You were invited.
I understand that. I understand that. Just a little too late in understanding that, though.
Okay, can we get a move in a second?
Yes,
Or
I moved it.
come out-
I said, yes.
Come out of executive session. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to come out of executive session. I will say yes.
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye. Aye.
Okay, thank you. All right, item 15A is related to salary and benefits. Take a motion.
Hold on, I gotta get there. What is the motion?
The motion is to accept
The salary and benefits.
recommendations of the Salary and Benefits Committee.
Do we need to, is that,
And then we need to add to it.
okay, so does that need to be two motions or just one with an amendment on it? You can add to it? Okay, and that's just Sally and Jim, right? Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the 2020-2021 Salary Benefits Committee recommendations and updated revised salary schedules, and add that Dr. Copeland and Sally Wells receive a step.
The same step as the administrator.
Yes, same step as the administrators. Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the recommendations of the Salary Benefit Committee and also give Dr. Copeland and Sally Wells the same pay increase as the administrator was that was scheduled. I will vote yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. We appreciate what you do, Tim and
Thank you
Sally
very much.
and everybody else in the district as well. So. Okay, item B.
This just need a motion to grant me the authority to make the graduation requirement accommodation on that one, if you want to sell that one individual case.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we grant the authority to Superintendent Dr. Copeland to make the graduation requirement accommodations on the individual case in encampment during this COVID-19 crisis. Second.
Moved and seconded to grant authority to Superintendent Copeland to make modifications to the graduation requirement as necessary for one individual in Campbell High School. I will vote yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, item 16, set the next meeting date. The regularly scheduled Board of Trustees meeting will be at 6 p.m. here at the central office at the new summertime at 6 o'clock. However, we're also scheduled to have a work session, if you can make it, at 4 p.m. here at the central office, with the topic being opening schools back up and issues involved in that. Just an update from the administration, and we may invite other people, even from the health department or other places we deem necessary to address that issue. Thank you all for coming and for Zooming, and this meeting is adjourned.
Bye.